So ERP-driven scenarios. So let's talk about an ERP upgrade. So we've seen multiple scenarios here. So what is a scenario? Typically, it's a minor or major upgrade, and it can be driven by technical or business drivers. The typical technical drivers are loss of support of an old version, those kinds of things, or some sort of platform issue or things like that. A business scenario is a business-driven scenario is typically you want the new capabilities in the new version. So people may be going from EBS 11 to 12 because of the subledger accounting or position management or any of the new features that are in Oracle's new ERP suites as they continuously get upgraded. So does it make sense to justify a BI project during that timeline? And we typically look for the following things. Number one, it's reduced cost. So if you see as part of the upgrade that your current BI solution, I'm skipping to the second sub-bullet, is really costing you a lot of money, it's a good opportunity for you to see, okay, this may be a good opportunity for me to get rid of something that's costing me a lot of money to maintain and go to another option such as a pre-built application like Oracle's BI application. The second thing can be the upgrade of the BI may actually be very expensive. So if you're making significant, for instance, we've seen customers where they have customized the ERP system to such an extent that, in fact, when they upgrade, they often will say, I'm going to go more vanilla. So in that case, all of the existing BI and reporting is now going to need to be redone. So now I've got to redo all of that development. I've got a regression test. I've got training issues, all of that. So from a cost perspective, it's going to be pretty expensive for me to move all of that. So that is those are typically what we see as cost drivers. From a benefit perspective, you're giving users typically new capabilities in the ERP system. Good time to think about giving them new BI capabilities. Another benefit driver is current users are not satisfied with their current BI solution. So that can be things like it's too, it just doesn't have the feature function sets that they are looking for. It's missing critical reporting. So we've seen one customer where their business needs were changing, where they needed additional profitability reporting, and the current ERP system wasn't giving it to them. So again, during the upgrade, they were able to include that new capability as part of the ERP project and as part of the BI component of the ERP project. So let me give you let's talk a little bit about what happens during an ERP upgrade. This is an EBS example from R11 to R12. Typically, you're going to look at what do we have today from a BI perspective, do a fit gap assessment, and look at implementing changes on the ERP side. You're going to be changing forms, retraining, all those things. And below, you've got, again, similar things on the BI side. So what do I have today? I may have a mixture of BI tools, Discover, Crystal Reports, SAP Business Objects, Cognos, whatever it is. And again, particularly on the cost side, it's a great time to do an audit. What do we have today and what's being used? Right? So most BI tools have some sort of usage tracking capability. And so you certainly want to see, am I going to move? We had a customer that had thousands of reports that they had. And so when they are going to the R12 upgrade, they did a pretty rigorous audit and survey of their users to figure out what's actually being used, and that number came down by almost 50%. So similar, again, similar kinds of, you'll audit, you'll evaluate and consolidate, and then the actual implementation. So some of the limitations is, if you're doing a straight one-for-one migration of your BI during the ERP, then you're really not adding a lot of value. So again, you need to think about that. Also, during an ERP upgrade, if you need to deal with historical data, you need to think about that as well, because you may in fact be not moving all of your existing, in this example, R11 or PeopleSoft 8 data over to 9. You may actually only be moving a portion of it, again, depending on how much ERP customization there's been. I wanted to give you some examples of this. So at an insurance company, we were part of a project, the BI portion, of where the customer was upgrading financials to EBS 11.5. It was approximately a 8-month ERP project with a 50-person team, and the decision was made, and it's always interesting from an ERP perspective. The controller, who was essentially signing the check for this project, said that I expect BI to be available day one, and so I want a simultaneous go live. When the ERP goes live, I want the BI to go live. In fact, she was very categorical. If the BI is not going live, don't bother turning on the ERP, because that's the biggest reason I'm going for a new ERP system or an upgrade, is because I want BI and greater visibility into my data as part of it. So the BI portion of the project was 5 months. So typically you start the project partway through the ERP project, and where you decide to do that, it depends on the nature of the ERP project. But you typically want to wait until the ERP data model is stabilized. So you don't want to necessarily start right away, but you also don't want to wait too long if you want to go for simultaneous go live. So the BI project, instead of a 50-person team, was a 5-person team, 5 months, and we were able to achieve a simultaneous go live with the ERP project. Very challenging project, but nonetheless, the business got on day one both ERP and BI. Benefits: this insurance company was able to accelerate their monthly close process using BI from 10 days to 5 days. And the other big change was, as they were doing the upgrade, they decided that they were going to restructure their chart of accounts quite significantly. So one of the big concerns was that the ERP tool, the reporting in it, wasn't sufficient to give people confidence in the new chart of accounts. And there's a lot more capability in the BI tools in terms of slicing and dicing data that would give users a much higher level of confidence in the new chart of accounts. So those were the primary benefits. Again, the close process, confidence in the new chart of accounts. Those are the key drivers from a BI perspective, from a benefits perspective. Of course, the ERP project had its own benefit list.